Hello guys, and this is Eli Azariah, and I am back with Consciousness Awakened for a quick little video about law of attraction and once again how to manifest what you want in life, how to bring things you desire into reality. Okay, now throughout the years I've learned that if you're the type of person who sleeps in and tends to wake up late, you're probably going to end up being somebody who's less successful than the guy who woke up at 4:30, got an early morning exercise, got a good breakfast, and took off to work and got there before anybody else. Why? Well, because that human being premeditated to make all of those moves, not the night before, but weeks and months before on actually committing that series of events. Why? I figure planning, short-term and long-term, is something that helps a human being become more successful in life. Why? Once again, this all goes back to thoughts and giving birth to thoughts and living them out and performing your actions to make those thoughts come a reality until the frequency of your dreams starts to eventually align with reality in your life. Now, I'm going to tell you a little interesting story about how thoughts really do pretty much manifest, and once they manifest, not only do you know something that you might have not known before, but somebody across the world could know it. Now, there was a couple experiments done. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know the exact year, but it involved some monkeys. Now, these monkeys were given, and I do believe this was in Japan, Japanese scientists gave monkeys bananas. Now, the bananas were covered in sand, so the older monkeys didn't enjoy eating these bananas, but sooner or later, the younger babies realized they could start washing these bananas in the water, and they could clean them off before they eat them. Now, it didn't take an instant turnaround on these monkeys eating cleaner bananas in right away. However, once the older generation kind of ended up dying off, and the younger ones all began implementing as a group the strategy of cleaning their bananas in the water before eating them, scientists noticed something miraculous happen. Monkeys all over the world now started doing the same exact thing and applying this technique of cleaning the bananas in the water before eating them. So this was a small scale experiment, and to be honest with you, they didn't know what to make of it, because this kind of led them to believe that all thought is collective thought. The number of all knowing minds in the universe is one, which at that time they didn't know and logically couldn't prove. So they did a small scale experiment and then stepped it up a notch. They did a bigger scale experiment. Now, this experiment involved human beings. Now, the human beings, I do believe this was in Great Britain. Okay, now they were showed an array of photographs. Now, in these photographs, there were faces, baby faces that were hidden, that you couldn't really notice at first glance. Now, there were hundreds of these faces hidden in the photograph, okay? And there would be absolutely no way for you to really realize it at first glance. Now, what happened is they wanted to test the human beings and see how many of these faces we'd be able to pick out of that photograph. And we didn't do well. We did poorly. Some picked out anywhere from 7 to 10 to 15. Okay, now this was a closed experiment cut off from the public. Now, across the world, in Australia, okay, they did the same exact test, except this time they aired it. They aired this on BBC closed circuit television, so people were able to see it, okay, but not the people that took the first experiment. Those people were still awaiting to take the next test. Now the second group did phenomenally better than the first group. They seen a lot of more faces and were a lot more accurate than the first group was. Now, due to the fact that they were able to see so much more faces, the second group was asked now to retake the test. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, they were able to guess pretty much identical answers to what the group in Australia wrote down. Now, what does this tell you? This tells you one thing, that the statement that the number of all knowing minds in the universe is one. I believe this beyond. You ever stood across the street and felt like somebody was staring at you? You felt their eyeballs almost burning a hole through the back of your head. It's happened to all of us guys. And you turn around and what do you know? There's somebody staring at you. Now I know it's kind of creepy at times, but why do you think that happens? In my personal opinion, thoughts, the same way they work in the astrals and communication works in the astrals, thoughts and ideas are passed along every day through telepathy. If you do your homework, and I'm not going to sit here and be completely fibbing to you about the fact that I know all the years and all the dates, but if you look into it, most of the world's greatest inventions in the United States not only were invented by two different people across the world when there was no means of communication or travel, but they made the same exact inventions, okay, and patented them in some cases at the same exact date. Now the patent office assumed that one was stealing from the other. However, that's not really the case. The case is, I believe that people access the Akashic records at the same time at times and end up getting these ideas, and these ideas come to them, but they don't just come to maybe one person, they come to maybe several people, and these people either pick up on it and see it as a genius, brilliant idea and act on it or not. Now, law of attraction in life works, and it's a little weird because it all once again involves vibrations in the human frequencies. Every day people experience up and downs in terms of emotions. Now, it all depends on how you take it in stride. If you're one of those people that lets something that somebody said affect you and it's gonna ruin your day, then honestly, you need to learn not only how to control your emotions, but you need to realize that there are people who are giving off their crappy emotions on a daily basis. It could be somebody sitting next to you on a train that can be so gloomy and negative that they're just letting all out on you, and you unconsciously and unknowingly are sitting there eating it all up, and by the time you get to work you might not even realize why you feel like crap. But believe it or not, this happens on a daily basis, guys. Now, I'm sorry, I do have something written down here. Now, okay, so from what I gather, okay, whether an intention is good or bad, it's formed up of two components. Now, intentions work like this, okay? First is the content of the intention. Second is the energy you bring to that intention. Now, the content being what the intention is itself. Is it positive? Is it negative? And then the energy you bring to it is how you follow through with love, with care, with devotion, with passion, with hate, with sorrow. That's entirely up to you. Now, all thoughts create energy flow, okay? Now, energy flow is emitted in and out of a human being. This is why people are able to pick up your mood if you're not feeling happy or if you're not feeling well, because some of them might sense it, but they might not know what to do with it. Me, before I even got into lucid dreaming and astral travel, I always had this sense that I was an empath. Why? Because I've always got into cars with friends, for example, and felt a gloomy, negative energy. And I do have the ability to deflect it and let it bounce right off of me. But however, I still don't find myself comfortable in a situation being surrounded by somebody who's a friend of mine and they're not happy and I am. To me, it's just not comfortable. I'd rather not be in it. This now also works the same way. You could be around somebody who's jolly and cheery as heck, fella. Man, for all you know, that guy's on top of cloud nine as if he won the lottery. Now, this also works to your benefit if you have empathic skills, because you can now pick up on his energy. And this is actually one of the reasons why I love and miss my friend who actually passed away, because he had that energy. I could be in a bad mood or having a bad day, and if I see this guy, man, he used to just cheer up everybody who he'd see. His energy radiated off of him. You feel it. You didn't have to be empathic to feel it. He was just one of those people. He had such a strong aura around him. It was phenomenal. May his soul rest in peace. Now, energy flow affects its likeness, meaning whatever frequency that energy is on, it's bound to attract the same frequency. Now, this also works the same in the people you attract in your life on a daily basis, your relationships or whatnot. Think of it as a radio. You could be in one car and a buddy of yours could be driving us alongside you in another car. Now, as long as you guys are tuned to 105.3 or 103.1, for example, and you're both on that radio station, what's going to be emitted is the same sound waves because you're both tuned into the same frequency. Okay? Now, believe it or not, music, for me personally, and I know for everybody, raises your vibrations if you are down, if you're gloomy, if you're not in a good mood. There's nothing like a good old song that cheers you up to switch your mood around. And I personally do guarantee you that if you listen to a track that has deep meaning to you, and not like the music that's coming out these days, I completely disguise it. Music is not music anymore. There's just some trash playing on the radio nowadays. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Maintaining clarity in life, being focused, setting goals, having affirmations that you act out on daily is very important. Okay, now this will help you shape your character. Affirmations work like this. You could stand in front of a mirror and say whatever it is that may help you at the moment in your life, whatever you're going through. If you're trying to obtain a job and you have an interview coming up, you could stand in front of the mirror and say, I will get this job. I am confident. I am smart. I am overqualified, and I will get this job. This is just an example. If you're playing sports, you're going to say something along the lines of, I'm going to score 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to fumble the ball. I'm going to be the fastest runner on the field. Things that help you pretty much reprogram your subconscious in a way that will make you a better person and the person you want to be in the long run. Now, these are all things that in life end up helping create the person you want to be, as long as you apply these things on a daily basis. This is not something that you could do once or twice and think that it's going to work magic, because it's absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you it is. Now, I personally feel like if you're going through a rough patch in life, that there's nothing better, and nothing more useful to you as a person than understanding what put you in that situation. Who or what? Now, I say who because there might be friends in your life that are causing negative impacts on whatever, your career, your job, your girlfriend, your relationship with your family. There's just people in life that you're better off without. Now, when I got into this whole journey of mine with spirituality and awakening in the consciousness, I lost a lot of friends. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of people in my life. Because there's just certain people that I felt I couldn't speak to. They simply didn't understand me anymore. And this all goes back to us no longer being on the same frequency. They were here. I was here. We were no longer in the place of common ground. We couldn't relate. So certain people will either understand you and grow with you, or it's better left alone. Just, part ways on